Alrighty, this is trade recap October 6th, Monday. So initially I looked at news, didn't really have much news. So for Europe, no US news for today. I marked out um, Asian session here, London session, and then this is New York session. This is the highest Asian session, lowest Asian session. This I don't know where the I didn't have a high London session actually, the way I mark lows and highs, but I did have. Let me get them up already. I did have a low um, London session, and so when I looked at London session, I saw that London session took out Asian highs, so I was expecting um, a reversal because it took it out but did not reverse. So I was expecting a reversal at some point. So bearish was my bias. Today was interesting because I believe that I got my bearish bias like I expected, but I got it earlier. So market opened here, um, ignoring these two lines because I moved these around as my trailing stop loss during a trade. They're initially marked for hourly highs and lows from previous sessions, and I end up moving it around, so ignore these two gray lines. And so session opens up, it still peaks up higher and then drops down and then has this big dark brown candle, and it further keeps going, and it's great and wonderful. And I did have I always forget about SMT. I did have SMT divergence when I compared it to the ES. NQ was making higher highs, ES was making lower highs. So ES was actually going to be what I was going to trade on. Actually, yeah, let me switch to ES. So ES actually looked even better. It took out London session here, took out Asian highs, and did not reverse until until New York session. So my bias was still bearish because it reversed in New York session. So my bias was bearish that it would continue down. So it looked great here, but this was not my trading session. I don't trade until the 950 mark. So right here. And in the 950 mark, when I dropped down to the 1 minute, it was just kind of too choppy. Yeah. Where's 950? Oh, this is not 950. It was just too choppy. Like here, there was no true clear direction, and obviously by 10, this was the last lowest low before it reversed back. Maybe liquidity, I don't know. And so I lost actually, and I didn't film any of that. So this is the last lowest low, 10. So really, I didn't have much time between here and here, because when I look at 950 hits here, then I should be looking for a fair value gap here, and then I watched for retracement down, and I could have taken it out. The other reason why this wasn't a great trade for me was because it was close to a session high or low. And these lines, I consider them like magnets. They're just really strong pulls. You just never know what's going to happen. In my mind, whenever you get to these lines, I mean, call it support, resistance, whatever, but this is where things get funny. You don't get a clear up. You don't get a clear up or down. You just get like this, you know, jumbleness here. You have this great move up, but then you get all this jumbleness here. I hate that. I mean, I don't hate it, but I just recognize that enough, and I go, I don't, if I take a trade out of here, the idea is it's going to hit the next stop, and so I'm expecting that. But if I'm taking a trade right smack around these sessions, it's like prepare to be in some level of consolidation, some level of confusion, just to be up in the air. So basically, I was up in the air here. I lost. Actually, I got out. Did not look good for me. And then I saw this consolidation happening. I started doing what I don't normally do, or what I'm trained not to do, but I still did anyway, getting in and out, kind of guessing, bouncing into ES, bouncing to NQ, trying to figure out what's going to work, terrible. So then, and now at this point, I'm out of my typical window where I should not be trading, but I'm not going to call it revenge trading, because at some point I ended up green. Initially, I was negative 2,000. That was my lowest. And by 2,000, I multiplied that by the other three accounts that I have. So I realized negative 6,000, which I was like, fine. I'm okay with that. That didn't stress me out. But I just wanted to make sure I was implementing my strategy properly. And I know that there's always room to find another time to enter. I just have to be patient. So I don't think I was revenge trading or being greedy or FOMO. I think um, I just wanted to do my strategy. And I was stoked to enter, especially because it's almost like a no news Monday almost. So be that as it may, I kind of, again, stayed in this whole system. This was annoying. And pretty much, actually, I switched back and forth between ES and NQ. And here, no, here, I definitely hit my mark somewhere. Oh yeah, so here, I entered into a trade here. It was showing bullish momentum. I just tried to exercise patience. I made sure to, I saw this fair value gap here. It's not the largest one, but it is one. Nevertheless, it's supported it well enough, and I took my trade up here. Is that right? No, that's not the one. This is the one. This is the one. Yeah. Because there at some point this candle at 1323 like did this huge move up and then retraced back, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna keep bullish. My fair value gap that I used was one of these tiny ones, nothing crazy. Really, I just kind of moved with price action, and I knew market structure were pretty much, we had converted down here, started kind of becoming bullish, consolidated. Didn't really fully break, just kind of stayed making almost equal lows down here. So bullish structure is what I was still expecting, which is not my initial bias, but I was moving with what the market was giving rather than trying to do what I wanted it to do at this point, because at this point I was out of my window. And I took my trade here and I got out here, and my total, let's see, my profit here was, oh my god, 1115, and that's times 3. So 1115 times